Municipal Building Authority meeting. I'll start with reading
Dale, do you need your picture on?
No, I'm fine. Do you need my picture on? In accordance with the Utah Code 52.4.2074, due to the infectious disease COVID-19 novel coronavirus, I have determined that the meeting is in an anchor location, presented substantial risk to a health and safety of those who may be present at the anchor location because of physical distancing measures may be difficult to maintain at the Murray City Council chambers. Federal, state, and local leaders have acknowledged the global pandemic. Salt Lake County Public Health Order 2020-13, dated August 19th, 2020, recognizes that COVID-19 is a contagion that spreads from person to person and poses a continuing and immediate threat to the public health of Salt Lake County residents. It's my intent to safeguard the lives of Murray residents, business owners, employees, and elected officials by meeting remotely through electronic means without an anchor location. The public may view the meeting via a live stream at www.murraycitylive.com or https:/www.facebook.com Murray City, Utah. With that, we'll start the meeting. We have a staff-sponsored presentation. We'll open a public hearing of a staff-sponsored presentation of public comment prior to the council action on the following matter. 1, consider a resolution amending the budget for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for fiscal year 2020-2021. Brenda Moore presenting.
So it should come as no surprise to you that we sold bonds to finance the new City Hall. The prior budget for the Municipal Building Authority, because it wasn't doing anything, was zero. So this amendment is basically establishes the budget for the remaining year and the construction budget for the City Hall. And total received or total revenue on the budget is $36,219,287, most of which was the bond proceeds and then interest that those proceeds will earn in the next 6 months. So if you don't have any questions, I guess public hearing is open.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any comments, Jan?
I did not receive any comments.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing and open it for questions from the council or a motion.
I will enthusiastically make a motion to adopt the resolution amending the budget for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for fiscal year 2021.
I'll second. Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hels?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Consider adoption of the 2021 meeting schedule of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'd move that we just keep it the same unless anyone has an objection to that.
Brett, this is the meeting agenda for next.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about approval? I jumped right to that, didn't I? I was going right in. Go ahead.
Well, I started this late. You're trying to make it up. I appreciate it.
Diane, go. Somebody's going to go ahead. I can see them.
Was yours a motion, Brett?
That is correct.
I'll
have a second. Thank you, Diane.
Sure.
Jennifer?
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hels?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye. Number 2, election of trustees and officers for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for calendar year 2021.
Did I jump the gun on that one?
Yeah, I agree with you, Brad. I think we should keep it the same.
Thanks, Diane.
You
Oh, my
restate-
goodness.
you restate it, Brett?
Yeah, I move that we keep the officers the same.
Okay, Brett has a motion that we keep all the officers the same. Jennifer?
Ms.
Need a
Dominguez,
second?
Oh, do we need a second?
Not on
Diane.
this.
Oh, okay.
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 Sorry.
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. House,
Aye.
Ms. Martinez,
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye. And finally, consider a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting the regular meeting schedule and electing trustees for the calendar year 2021. That's a repeat. No, I guess it isn't. So we have to consider a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting the regular meeting schedule and enacting the trustees and officers for calendar 2021. Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
I move we adopt the resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting the regular meeting schedule and electing trustees and officers for the calendar year 2021.
I will second that. Do we second? Do we need
Yeah.
a second? Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Ms. Dominguez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. House,
Aye.
Ms. Martinez,
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye. All right, with that was a lot harder than it should have been, and we'll adjourn the meeting and move to council.
I want to just say something real quick. It seems so backwards. Every year we do that. For some reason, that seems backwards to me, but it's not.
All right. Do we need to do anything official to leave that meeting to start this other one?
Yeah, I just adjourned it. We'll go to
You
council.
adjourned it. Okay, great. Hello, I'm Councilmember Kat Martinez. I'll be conducting this meeting. So we're calling to order and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have some very special guests with us tonight who are going to help lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm very excited they're with us. I'll have each of you introduce yourselves. So you'll tell us your name and how old you are. And how about what your troop is, what your troop number is. Can we do that? We start with Audrey. So Audrey, you can unmute yourself and you can tell us your name and how old you are. Welcome.
My name is Audrey Clark, and I'm 9 years old, and my troop number is 494.
Thank you, Audrey. We're so glad you're here. And I believe our other Girl Scout's name, is it Saya?
Maya. My name is Samaya, and I'm 8 years old, and my troop number is 494.
Samaya, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm Tegan, and I'm 8 years old, and my troop is 494.
Thank you. Welcome. And is the little one behind you going to help out?
Oh, yes. This is Ambria, and she's 3, and she's learning the Pledge of Allegiance in preschool. So we'll see how she does.
Well, that is wonderful. Okay, well, they're going to put a flag up, I believe, and we'll have you guys lead us, and we'll all do it together. Are you ready?
We've got enough for 2 or 3 more weeks.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amazing job. Thank you, ladies. We are so glad that you joined us today. And you are free to go if you like. If you don't want to sit around and listen to the whole meeting, I bet you have a meeting to get to too. Is it Scout Night?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Have a good Scout meeting.
Thank you,
See
ladies.
y'all later.
It's my ways, honey.
Thank you. It was an honor.
All right. Wonderful. We have to start out with approval of the minutes. We have minutes from November 10th, 2020 and November 17th, 2020. Are there any questions or corrections? And if there are none, I would take a motion to accept them as they are.
I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes for November 10th and November 17th, 2020.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hels?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye. All right. Then we have special recognition. We have Murray City Council Employee of the Month, Brooke Smith, and I'm very excited to get to announce hers, Deputy City Recorder and Purchasing Agent. I had a hard time saying that, not sure why. Do we, are we gonna do one at a time? Is that how we do these? Okay, I feel very weird doing it online. So that is Brett and Brenda presenting for Brooke.
Thank you, Kat. Jan, are you going to put that up on the screen? Oh, you're so good. You know what? You talk about Patty thinking before you, I mean, you always are ahead of me, so thank you. Okay, welcome, Brooke. We're excited to be able to do this. Oh, it went to something else, but anyway, Brooke, I was going to say, Brooke, turn your mic on for a minute. How many years have you been with us?
I have been here for 2.5 years, a little bit over 2.5.
2.5 years. Brooke is our deputy city recorder and purchasing agent. And you get to know Brooke in different areas, but we had the opportunity to get to know Brooke, Dale, and I over the last little while with this during the RDA. There it is. So there is your Murray City Council Employee of the Month certificate. And you've heard me say this before, but we're gonna put that up. Oh, you've got it. You got it in hands.
Yeah,
I love
it. Thank you.
I love it. So you have the $50 Visa gift card then right there in your hands. You haven't spent it yet, have you?
No, but we'll spend it tonight.
Okay.
We're going out to dinner to celebrate.
I'd have had it spent probably before. Cindy would say I'd had it spent before. But anyway, congratulations. We're excited. This is a program we started years and years and years ago, and it has been so beneficial, and we love it. And we're excited because we get to recognize our employees, and today you're one of them. And so we will put that obviously on the plaque in our chambers, and that'll be more visible when we're back in the chambers. And anyway, we just want to say thanks for all you do. You're always friendly. It's fun to be around you. You're a real friendly person, and you're personable, and you've always treated us really good. So we appreciate it, and thank you for who you are and what you do. And I'm going to turn the time over to who is it? It's Brenda. Brenda. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you.
So a couple things you may or may not know about Brooke. She just finished her Master's of Interdisciplinary Studies with an emphasis in public administration. So she truly wants to be a city employee, and she's gone to school to pursue that. Since she's been here, she's brought the professional level of our purchasing department back to where it should be. She's helped coordinate many big RFP processes, the last one of which, of course, was the 48th and State. She wasn't a member of the committee, but she coordinated the whole committee. So that is a very big job, wrangling all of those people. She brought our city surplus. We used to send everything to TNT in these little blocks, and we'd get $50, $75. Now she surpluses things. One of something she's done is in 2018, we sold a John Deere tractor through TNT, and then we sold another one in 2019. The difference that we received was $1,200 between those two cells. So it's not a lot when you compare it to the whole city budget, but anything helps in the city. And all of the money that we raise in surplus goes to the capital projects fund. She's surplus the last fire truck or fire apparatus, as the fire department would have you say. The vacuum truck that we were having so many problems with and got a new one, she surplus that and got some money for that. My big thing I really like is when people need to get rid of things in the city, she puts them up, and a lot of stuff swaps departments as people need things or do not need things. So that's one of the things. And the other thing you may not know about her is that she is the designer of our budget and CAFR covers. I can't do that kind of artwork. I don't have any creativity at all. And I just appreciate the fact that she will do whatever I ask, including design a CAFR cover. And she's a very big asset to the city and to our company, or to the city as a whole. And I just appreciate her and everything that she does. And I just want to see if Jennifer Kennedy, her direct supervisor, wants to say just a quick word about her.
Absolutely. Thank you. So when I brought Brooke on 2.5 years ago, as Brenda mentioned, one of the things that was super important was getting our purchasing program more professional and back on track. And she did that. She is so dependable. Anytime I need anything from her, she's there for me. I really appreciate all the work she does. She really makes my job a lot easier. I didn't realize how hard my job was until I got Brooke. So I do appreciate everything she does for our office.
Thank you.
So,
Can I take a few minutes to just, yes. Okay, thank you first to the City Council for this opportunity, this recognition. I really do appreciate. There's so many deserving employees in the city, and I am humbled by this opportunity to express my gratitude back towards you. And then I would really like to thank my supervisor and my mentors, Jennifer Kennedy, Brenda Moore, for the support that they've given me, and for always being there to answer questions I have, and just being a great friend and mentor through this whole process. And then finally, I'd just like to thank the city employees that I get to work with on a daily basis in purchasing decisions. And without their support and their communication, I wouldn't be here today. So I really appreciate the superb talent that we have on staff, and thank you for this opportunity. So thank you for this platform. I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing those words too. We are just so grateful that you are here with Murray City and for sharing your talents with us. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have the honor of announcing the Murray City Council Employee of the Month, Barbara Ishino, Office Administrator 3 with Power. And Brett Hales and Blaine Hackey are going to present.
Thanks, Kat. Again, Barbara, turn your mic on because we want to. She's under Roger, aren't you? Where are you, Barbara? How come I can't? Oh, the certificate came up. That's okay. Barbara, you there?
I am.
Okay. This is Barbara Ishino, and Barbara works with the Power Department. And Barbara, how many years have you been with the city?
I've been here 3 years.
3 years. Well, it is a pleasure to have you as our city employee for the month. And, we don't get to see Barbara a lot because she's over in the where the Power Department is. And so do you get over much over to our area?
Just a few times. Just a few times. I had a grand tour, though.
You did get the grand tour. Okay, great. Well, Barbara has the absolutely wonderful opportunity to work with Blaine Hackey. I mean, the Blaine Hackey. Look at Blaine. It's anyway. And I know Barbara agrees. So because we've talked. Anyway, it's good. Congratulations. This again. You've got your certificate then, and you got your $50 Visa gift card. Hey, let me just tell you, in my opinion, that's one of the most important things, is that $50. And that's to be spent on you, Barbara.
Okay.
Anyway, we're grateful for your 3 years of service, and Anyway, and we'll have your name on a plaque, just like I mentioned with Brooke. And this is a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to recognize all of you. And so anyway, without further ado, again, thank you, Barbara. And we're going to turn the time over to Blaine Hackey.
Thanks, Brett. You've said a lot. I mean, Barbara's been great. She's been with us for about 3 years, as you mentioned. And I think what she's brought to our office is a lot of professionalism. She's the first responder to a lot of the phone calls coming in. She and Michelle Lundeen kind of watch the front lobby for us. And she's often the one that meets the contractor at the door who's pretty upset, or someone on the phone who's complaining about an outage. And she's brought a lot of professionalism, and she's really helped me get through the last couple of years too with this nuclear stress that's been on me. She's been the stress release, I guess you could say. Her demeanor is professional. Like I said, she could calm the beast. Let me give an example. Today I overheard, like as I mentioned before, sometimes she'll meet the contractor at the door that's kind of upset or something. But this morning, there was a continual repeated customer that comes in that's could be kind of mean, kind of irate. And she met him at the door and they were processing it. And she turned it around and said, "How was your motorcycle ride down here? Was it cold? Were you okay?" You're laughing, Barbara, but I heard that through the wall. And she kind of turned that whole thing around, and the guy started talking about a motorcycle in the middle of, or first part of December. And that was the way she was able to turn that whole thing around, and he left, with no problems whatsoever. We've given Barbara a couple of assignments in the last couple months that have been kind of big. One is the Public Power Week that we usually have at the park. We weren't able to do that this year. We've turned that over to her, and she and Matt Youngs were able to come across with a program that was a great success. We had drawings every day, and I think you were well aware of that, where we gave Nest thermostats and we gave Power Bucks and gift cards. And the key is to get people onto our Facebook post. And so they could start following us on our Facebook post. Several days we had upwards of 200 people that were waiting to see if they were going to be drawn from the hat. Because Barbara is our social media Facebook person, we wanted to get people to follow our Facebook, and so that we could inform them during outages what the situation was. And so oftentimes we will call Barbara in the middle of the night or early in the morning when we have a fairly big outage, and she will post on Facebook or social media what our outage situation is, how long it will be, what our crews are doing. And, that's well beyond the call of duty. And so those are two things we've thrown at her in the past 3 years, is the social media and also the public power celebration. But as I mentioned, she's brought a lot of professionalism to him. As an administrator, as a boss, I appreciate the fact that I can mention something almost in passing, and it could be 3 months out, and it's done. I might have to repeat it. I don't have to remind her or anything. And, she often reminds me, "Well, you got a meeting tomorrow at 10. I'm going, "Oh, we talked about that 3 months ago, and you've got it on the calendar." One final thing. When Barbara was interviewed, she was the first interview that came through, and I think Michelle and I interviewed 8 people. And when Barbara left the room after that first interview, Michelle turned to me and said, "I think we found her. Do we have to interview the rest of them?" Well, we did have to interview the rest of them, but we came back to our first interview, and of course we hired her. And Barbara's been great. She's been my right-hand person. I work closer to her than probably anybody. I'm glad that she was honored this way, and wish I could give her more than $50, but that's the way it is. So I appreciate Barbara and all she does. She's got a great family. She's got 3 grandkids. Yeah, 3 grandkids. Sammy, Maddie, and the little guy, the little man. So thank you, Barbara, for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Barbara, go ahead and say something, Barbara.
Well, working for Murray City and the power company has just been such a wonderful opportunity for me, for my family, and I appreciate Blaine and his support. Also, all the people in the power department are fabulous, just so fun and interesting, and it's been great to get to know them. And I've loved doing the Facebook. It's been fun, and interacting with the citizens during the Public Power Week was really a great experience. So thank you to all of you and the council and the mayor, everyone, for the opportunity to have this Employee of the Month award. That is so kind and generous. Thank you.
Let me say something real quick. And Blaine has said that before, and I am so impressed when he just said what complimented you about that. To think that rather than when someone comes in, you don't join in the argument or make it more intense, but you took it away and brought up something else. What an awesome thing to do. That takes talent. That's a hard thing to do. So we give you a lot of credit for that, Barbara.
Thank you.
Would anyone else on the council like to say anything to Brooke and Barbara?
Congratulations, both of you. And I don't know you very well, Barbara, but thank you for everything that you do. And Brooke, I know we've passed in the hallways in passing, so thank you both as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know Barbara either, but I know Brooke, and Brooke helped us immensely on the RDA. If it hadn't been for her, Brett and I would have been in a bind. Well, at least Brett anyway. But she did a great job, and I really appreciate everything both of you do.
Yes, I'd like to echo what everybody has said and also congratulate you both and thank you for being such wonderful employees of Murray City. We really do appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brooke and Barbara, for being here and for your service to the city. We appreciate you so much. And you're welcome to stick around if you like, but otherwise you can go spend your gift cards and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you again. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to Barbara too.
Thank you. Thank you, Brooke. I love working with you, Brooke. It's been fun.
Thank you. Have a good evening, guys. Thanks again.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. Next up, we have citizen comments. And those can be submitted to the email address city.council@murray.utah.gov. Comments are limited to less than 3 minutes and have to include your name and contact information. And Jan, do we have any citizen comments this evening?
No, I do not.
Okay. Then I will move on to the consent agenda. And let's see, should I read all of them at once or should we read one at a time? How do we usually do that?
Yeah, why don't you read through all of them and then let Mayor Camp take over?
Perfect. I just didn't want to launch into a monologue if that wasn't what was supposed to be done. Thank you. So we're going to consider confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Nancy Boyce to the Arts Advisory Board for a 2-year term beginning January 15th, 2021 to expire January 15th, 2023. We're going to consider confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Jeff Evans to the Arts Advisory Board for a 2-year term beginning January 15th, 2021 to expire January 15th, 2023. We're going to consider confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Haley Oliphant to the Arts Advisory Board for a 2-year term beginning January 15th, 2021 to expire January 15th, 2023. Consider confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Mindy Canova to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2021 to expire January 1st, 2024. And consider confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Ted Macis to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2021 to expire January 1st, 2024. And I will turn it over to the mayor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned, all of these individuals are being reappointed this evening. You do have in your packet their resumes, but these are people that we all know and very much appreciate that they're willing to step up again and be reappointed. So we appreciate that. As you mentioned, we have first Nancy Buist, who will be appointed for a 2-year term, and Jeff Evans for a 2-year term also, both to the Arts Advisory Board. Haley Oliphant will be reappointed also, again, Arts Advisory Board for a 2-year term. Mindy Canova as well. Mindy Canova will be appointed to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. This is a 3-year term. And then Ted Maestas for his reappointment for, again, a 3-year term. So I just want to say how much I appreciate these individuals. They've all been great in serving. And this has been an interesting year because it's been hard for these boards to meet, and it's been a challenge for them. But they are all willing to do it, and so I'd appreciate your confirmation for them tonight.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Or I take a motion if there are none.
No, we do them all together.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm appreciative. I mean, I know all of us are appreciative for all their service. I mean, it's amazing what service that it adds to our city. So I'll move that we, I guess it's that simple. I just move that we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Thank you, Dale. Jennifer?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Health?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye. And just to echo again, thank you everyone willing to serve on the boards and commissions. Your work is appreciated and so important for the city. Next up, we have public hearings. The first one is consider an ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2020 to 2021 budget, and Brenda Moore is presenting.
Good evening again, Council. So we are here to have a public hearing on the amending the 2021 budget. So some of the items, I'll just go really quickly down them. The $97,000, 834 for prior year's state alcohol funds, so the police can spend these funds on alcohol-related enforcement. $10,000 for additional auditing services for the writing of our financial statement, or the help in writing our financial statement. We have received multiple grants and just basically multiple grants, and we sent a couple crews out on fires, so we're getting reimbursements for those, the biggest of which was the state of California's reimbursement. I think we had crews out there for almost a total of a month. They're reimbursing us $412,743. We sent some fire crews to Colorado, $42,240 from that. We did get our annual allocation from the Zoo Arts and Parks grant for the arts programming of $88,100. Utah Humanities Grant, another CARES grant that can be spent a little differently than the money that we get. We got as a city. So she's got $10,800 on that. State asset forfeiture money for police equipment, $5,400 state Homeland Security Protection Grant for some hazardous material detection equipment of $77.90, and our annual JAG grant for car dash cameras of $29,524. I'm also requesting that we appropriate an additional $250,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund reserves to complete Pavilion Number 5 project, including the bathrooms and some other upgrades in the area, and then appropriate from the water fund reserves $582,600 for well rehabilitation, and an additional $200,000 for other water projects throughout the city. And that is all. That's what's on the amendment. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, concerns?
No, I think you covered it pretty well last time around.
Thank you.
Then I would take a motion.
Oh, need to open the public hearing.
I need to open the public hearing. Thank you, Brenda. Did we have any public comments?
I don't have any on the budget.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve an ordinance amending the city's fiscal 21 budget.
I'll second.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hose?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye. Thank you. All right. Next up, consider an ordinance relating to land use, amends the general plan from commercial development to residential medium density, and amends the zoning map from CN to RM15 for the properties located at approximately 5448 South and 5452 South, 700 West, Murray City, Utah. Ivory Development, and Melinda Greenwood is presenting. I'll turn it over to you, Melinda. And Melinda, you're still on mute.
You're muted.
Okay, I think I have the right screen up now. We were trying to get the applicant into the meeting, Brian Ivory. I don't know if he's been able to join. So I'm kind of multitasking here with trying to get him in.
Melinda, I've never seen him come into the waiting room.
Okay. I don't know if the link for me was a unique link and he couldn't use that, but that was the link that I had to send him. So hopefully you can join. But let's move on from that. So we have before you this evening 2 items to discuss: a general plan amendment as well as a zone map amendment. Ivory Development is the applicant. The address there's actually 2 properties adjacent to each other. The address for the property is 5448 and 5452 South, 700 West. The total property combined acres is 2.74. Currently, the property is zoned CN or commercial neighborhood, and the general plan amendment and the zone map amendment request is to go to RM15, which is multifamily low density residential. This shows an aerial of the property that I mentioned there, the address of 5448 and 5452 South, 700 West is right here. This is the corner of 5400 South and 7th West. For some context, this is the Smith's food store right here. The map here shows the current zoning, which shows that the property right now is in the CN or the commercial neighborhood zone. The future land use map shows that zone change going to residential business. So this is a bit of an odd request that we would go from business or commercial to residential, but I'll talk a little bit later about some of the constraints with the property which have led us to support this request. Again, here's another view of the property here. We're talking about this small triangular parcel right here. You can see that the property does back up on the south to some single-family residential homes. And then this is an aerial that shows 700 West, which is UDOT right-of-way. 5400 South is also UDOT right-of-way. And what you can see here from this aerial are a median that makes it impossible. Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to check this message from the applicant, or see if we can get the applicant in. Okay. I don't know if he's still trying to join, but if you could just maybe keep an eye out for him. Sorry, back to the presentation. So UDOT has put in place here some infrastructure that makes it very difficult for this parcel to develop commercially. There's no access from 5400 South. You can see here the UDOT won't allow any access to the property from 5400 South, which leaves the only access to come from the property from 700 West. There's a raised median here in the road. It allows them for a right in and a right out turn to access the property, which just is not conducive to developing the property commercially. So it's been used previously, you can see, as a single family residence. But the prospects of that developing into some type of a commercial use really is not there because of the access issues. And we have had conversations in the past with UDOT about trying to mitigate some of those access issues, and they're just not open to changing the access over there. So a little bit more about the difference between the two zones. Again, right now it's zoned CN commercial neighborhood, and they are requesting to go to the RM15 multifamily medium density. So in the commercial neighborhood, permitted uses include single family dwellings, utilities, hardware, variety stores, apparel, furniture, drugstores, etc. Conditional uses can be approved through a public hearing, and those include convenience store and gas stations, check cashing, assisted living facilities, child care centers, etc. Again, we just don't see with the access issues the feasibility for any of these uses. So the RM15 zone allows for single family detached dwellings on 8,000 square foot lots, or two family dwellings that would be on 10,000 square foot lots, utilities, charter schools, residential. And then it also allows for attached single family dwellings up to 12 units per acre, multifamily dwellings up to 12 units per acre, bed and breakfast, retirement homes, etc. So the main difference between these is essentially one is the commercial use, and the RM15 is just residential use. So we also wanted to just help the council and the public understand some of the differences between the regulations that are allowed in the two zones. Let's see. Okay, so he may now, oh great, I think we've actually now have Brian from Ivory able to join us in the meeting. So we'll give him an opportunity as the applicant to address the council. So thanks for your patience with that as we work to get him in the meeting. Going back to the regulations, there are some differences between the two zones. Planning Commission review is required in the CN zone for any new buildings or structures to be constructed. The RM15 does not have that same requirement, but there is a conditional use required for attached single family and multifamily development uses. The height of the structures, there is a 5-foot difference between those two. The zone they're requesting to go to would allow 40 feet maximum. Right now, that limitation is 35 feet. There's also minimum lot sizes, which aren't applicable to the CN zone, but would be applicable to the RM15 zone.
which two-family lots, a two-family unit would have to be on a lot of at least 10,000 square feet. And then the multifamily units are limited to 12 units per acre. There's also some differences in the setback. You can see their front yard requirements in the residential zone are deeper, as well as the rear yard setbacks. That gives a little bit more protection to the neighborhood to the south than the CN zone would give. This item was presented to the Planning Commission at the October 15th meeting. We mailed a total of 103 public notices for the meeting. We were able to hear public comments from 5 individuals who sent comments in via email. And the concerns that they raised are common concerns with items like this. Differences in use, concerns about having the property developed, how that may impact traffic. There were concerns about the height of the buildings. So your fairly common concerns were raised. The council did pass a recommendation of approval for the zone change and the general plan amendment with a vote of 6-0. So staff and Planning Commission are recommending the City Council approve the amendment to the general plan and also the zone map amendment for the properties at 5448 South and 5452 South 700 West. So I did mention, I think we do have the applicant here now. I'm happy to take any questions from the council if you have any questions for me.
Are there any questions now? Melinda, will you take the slide down so we can see faces a little bit better? That makes it a little easier to see. If there aren't questions at this time, let's go to the property, the applicant. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. Let's go to the applicant and then take questions after that.
Evening, Council. Melinda, thank you for the great overview. I think that was comprehensive and accurate. I don't have much to add beyond what has been said and what's included in the staff report. Happy to answer any questions that the council has as it relates to our proposal and our application. Thanks so much.
Any questions? Anything the council would like to add? All right. Then I would take.
If any questions do come up, would love the opportunity to come back and answer if something comes up during the hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you joining us. All right. It is a public hearing. So were there any comments?
Yes,
submitted?
I have 2 comments, and this is something maybe Brian would want to respond to afterwards. The first one is from Colin Bunker, and he is a Murray City resident. And he writes, what will the impact be to traffic on 700 West and the stoplight at the corner of 700 West and 5300 South? Will there be adequate parking for all residents? And will this impact street parking on 700 West? This is described as medium density housing. What exactly does that mean? Will these be rentals or owner-occupied residents? And what developer is requesting the change in zoning? And the second comment comes from Paul Dodge, and he is also a Murray City resident. City Council, thanks for your service to all of us. The main concerns we have with this project are traffic flow in and out of the property and subsequent detours into area subdivisions for those coming in and out of the property. As we see it, the only available exit would be to travel south on 700 West and then migrate into the subdivisions. 5300 South and 700 West intersections are heavily traveled in all directions. Second, without a site plan, it is impossible to know how new residents to the north will be affected. Will affect the peace and privacy of existing homeowners to the south. Concerns about privacy, noise, and light encroachment are concerns. We appreciate the efforts being put into making this a viable solution for all. We have no apprehension with the developer as they already enjoy a good reputation with us. The issues we have are simply that respect for the existing homes and neighborhoods be highly considered and traffic patterns are fully reviewed and considered. Otherwise, we welcome new neighbors and friends. That's all.
Thank you, Jan. And I'd like to give the applicant an opportunity to answer any of those questions or concerns that they can.
Yes, thank you. As it relates to traffic, two comments I would make is one, in the event that this is rezoned to the RM15 use, there is an administrative process that we will have to go through to comply with the city's land development code and ordinances. And that would include a traffic impact study. Specifically to the question of parking, we've had a few meetings with staff, and they've made it clear that there will not be any parking allowed on 7th West, as well as there, as most of you know, 5400 South is a UDOT road. We've had a couple of meetings with UDOT Region 2. It is highly unlikely that they will allow secondary, like what was mentioned earlier, secondary access onto 5400. So this will really be a single access out on the 7th West, and there will have to be adequate parking, resident and visitor parking within the subdivision to accommodate that traffic. What I envisions here is townhome product. It will not be a for rent apartment product. Truthfully, I think that ultimately the traffic impact will be lower than what the current general plan and zone use is today. Under commercial use, this would likely generate more traffic than residential use. But we do look forward to working with your staff in the event this is approved to provide a subdivision design that complies with the RM15 ordinance and the city's code. So thanks so much.
Thank you for answering those questions and concerns. Council, any questions?
Kat,
all right.
Can I take a minute to just address some of those other comments?
Absolutely.
From the public hearing. So it seems a little bit strange, especially to those that don't go through this process really frequently, that we would consider and entertain a general plan amendment or a zone map amendment without having a project in mind or a site plan, which was mentioned. There's some specific reasons why when we do a general plan amendment and a zone map amendment, we're really not talking about a project. We're talking about the way the land can be used. So, it's a little counterintuitive, but when we look at these types of uses, when we look at these types of applications, we're really just looking at the difference in uses. The project is what will come along later. And Mr. Prince did mention that there is an administrative as well as a legislative process that will go through in the next phase if the zone change and the general plan amendment is approved. Another question was about, what is medium density? What is that? We would consider condos or townhomes and condos to be medium density. Density has to do with the number of living units that you would allow on a parcel. And so the lowest density we have are the single family zoning. The medium density is where we would come in with like twin homes or the townhomes, even like maybe a duplex or quadruplex, those types of things. And then the high density housing is where you get into more of those, apartments that have several different units. I did want to mention too, a traffic study is required at the discretion of the city engineer. And the code does require that to be, the code requires a traffic study to be done anytime there's more than, I think it's 100 units being developed. So regardless of the acreage, if there's 100 units, residential units that are coming in, the code requires a traffic study. Other than that, it's up to the discretion of the city engineer. But given the fact that this would be on UDOT right of way, there is a possibility that a traffic study would be required. But in regards to traffic, there would be the rezone to change this from a commercial use versus a residential use would lower the impact of traffic in the area. So we would see, far few trips in and out to the property than with a residential use than we would with a commercial use, like we mentioned earlier with assisted living or a fueling station, a gas station, those type of things. So I think those were all of the questions that were raised from the public comments that I can address. So if there's any other questions the council has.
Any other questions? Dale?
Yeah, I appreciate the public comments that came in tonight, and I would strongly recommend a traffic study because of the limited access to that property. I agree it would be less than a service station, but a service station can't be built there. We're going to have a lot of traffic coming in and out of there, and it's very limited access. So I think it's a good project. I appreciate it, but I think everything we can do to assure the residents in that area and the public that we've done everything we can to make sure that the impact is positive, I think we should do, and I think a traffic study would be one of those. So I highly recommend we whether we're required to or not, that we do a traffic study so we're able to explain to the residents exactly what the plan is and how we're going to mitigate any problems.
Thanks, Dale. And I'd just like to echo that it's a very challenging intersection with two very, busy streets that definitely a traffic study. I would say if we can do one, I would put on my opinion that we need to do that. And the concerns I've heard from residents isn't about the zone change, but just about development in general because of the challenge of the intersection. So it's not necessarily that I'm not hearing concerns about the type of zone change or the type of buildings or residential units that could be put there, but just any added traffic I think is making people really nervous, which I think is fair. Any other questions?
I'll just echo that. I agree with the traffic study also.
The next phase, when we review the project that comes in, we'll let engineering know that there's a concern there. Thank you.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. I would entertain a motion. Do I have to formally close the public hearing? Did I do that? I'm all looking to Jan. Okay, I would take a motion.
Should close it.
I'll make a motion that we approve an ordinance related to land use amendments in the general plan and commercial development to residential medium density and amend the zoning map from CN to RM15 for the properties located at approximately 5448 South and 5452 South, 7th West, Murray, Utah.
I will second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Jennifer?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hells?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye. All right, thank you. That takes us to the end of our public hearings. So I will turn the time over to the mayor for the mayor's report.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things just to let you know this evening. First of all, the city experienced 2 water line breaks over the holiday weekend. One was on the corner of Hollow Springs Drive and Bullion Street, and the other was on 500 West and 4600 South near the Public Works Building. The breaks were repaired quickly. There's some remaining cleanup and patching to be completed. Secondly, I'm really disappointed to report that there's been some extensive damage to the Jordan River Parkway Trail boardwalk near Arrowhead Park, which is just south of 4800 South. A vehicle drove on the boardwalk, destroying the decking and demolished several of the sections of railing. In fact, I think I've got a couple of pictures I can show you here. So some kind of vehicle drove out on there and caused this damage. Our staff estimates about $20,000 in damage, and no one reported seeing or hearing anything in the area. So that's very unfortunate. On a more positive note, okay, that the library has extended hold pickup hours on Mondays and Wednesdays to 7 p.m. And then finally, I don't know how many of you have been in City Hall lately, but there is a really great display. If you remember last year, the candy display that was down near the museum. Well, this year there's a really great candy display in the display case in front of the council chambers, and the staff was trying to figure out how it would work to get some public in to be able to see it. So the members of the Parks and Recreation staff is going to open the building from 6 to 8 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday. December 7th and 8th, and then the following week on Monday and Tuesday on the 14th and 15th, so that the public can be invited to come in and view that. They'll be on hand to make sure that there are masks worn and social distancing requirements are being met, and they will post that information on their both on the city website and on social media. So. I just wanted to make you aware of that. It's a really great display if you haven't seen it yet. And that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Any questions from the council? All right, well, thank you, Mayor. And unless there's any announcements, Jan, do we have any announcements just in committee of the whole? Okay, well then we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Kat. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, everyone.